it's important to remember that on the deepest level, yes, we are consciousness. On the deepest level, yes, we are soul. Yes, we are spirit. And these bodies are just vehicles and vessels for the spirit. And so to put a lot of time and energy of our minds into what our vehicle or vessel looks like is counterproductive. I'm either focused on the pimple on my nose, or I'm focused on connecting with consciousness. You can't simultaneously be looking out and looking in at the same time. If I'm meditating deeply inward, I may be aware of the pimple on my nose. It's not that I'm no longer aware of the fact that it's there, but my attention isn't focused on it. In the same way that I may be aware of the fact that it's hot out, or it's cold out, or it's windy, or I'm having allergies, or my knee hurts. I may be aware of all of those things, but my focus isn't on them. My focus is on connecting with the soul or spirit. That being said, the creation is beautiful. And to engage in beauty with the creation, there's nothing wrong with that. Painting pictures of the creation, whether it's people, whether it's mountains, whether it's trees, whether it's flowers, taking photographs, whatever art form we may be in, whether it's beautifully depicting that which already exists, or whether it's bringing more beauty to that which exists. Either way, there's nothing wrong with loving beauty in the creation. And if what people want is to cut their hair a certain way or wear clothes in a certain way, nothing wrong with it. There's nothing in spirituality that says, thou shalt dress only in potato sacks. I mean, yeah, we have a history of saints and mystics who wear potato sacks, or who wear blankets, or who wear, nothing. There is a reason that when you go deeply on a spiritual path, you lose interest in what you're using to cover the body. Yeah, there's some level of awareness that you don't want to walk through the streets nude, but it just becomes about anything to cover the body and not about the fashion. But that's something that happens automatically. I don't know anything written anywhere, anything taught anywhere that says, thou shalt not love the beauty of your body. Thou shalt not, decorate it. If you go to our temples, our images of God, their clothes are changed every day. They've got night clothes, they've got day clothes, they've got winter clothes. I mean, really. I remember the first time I walked into a temple in the wintertime and they had, little knit shawls for the deities. And I was like, really? God gets cold? You think about it, coming from a Western perspective, it didn't make any sense to me. How can God get cold? If it's just a statue, obviously it doesn't get cold. If it's God, whom we are revering, worshiping, connecting with through this image, well then again, it shouldn't get cold. But what was explained to me so beautifully was, obviously God doesn't get cold. But when we worship God in this form, then obviously we're also going to do everything we can to make it as beautiful as possible. And that in this tradition, we personify the divine. And God doesn't mind whether we connect with God in form, no form. It doesn't matter. We talk about this almost every night. And so if I worship God in the form of Krishna, and so in my mandir, my statue of Krishna, or my statues of Krishna and Radha, whatever form I'm worshiping the divine in, and I've got beautiful little, knit shawls for them. Well, that's my devotion. It's not that God gets cold. It's that this is my love and devotion to beautify the image of God. Go to any of the temples and you'll see the clothes on the deities are extraordinary. The amount of time and energy that the people who prepare the deities go through to bathe them. I mean, again, God needs to be bathed, right? But this is about, it's not that God needs any of it. It's that in our devotion, we want to make this image of the divine as beautiful as possible. And so in the same way, if you're working with fashion, if you're working with beauty, nothing wrong with it. God lives in all of us. To make ourselves as beautiful as we feel like we can. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as our motivation for doing so is not, then I will love myself. Then I will be worthy. Then I will be enough. Then these people I want to approve of me will approve of me. That's the harmful stuff. That's the dangerous stuff. That's the, oh my God, when the hairdresser did my hair, it looked so good, and for the life of me, I cannot figure out how to make it look like that again. I wish I hadn't gone to sleep. I wish I hadn't had a shower, because there is no way now that I can make my hair look like it looked yesterday. Yesterday I felt beautiful. Today I feel ugly. Yesterday I felt worthy. Today I feel unworthy. So I'm going to spend 2 hours berating myself in the bathroom with a blow dryer and a brush and a mirror and spray and gel and whatnot until I feel okay. That's dangerous. Because what that's saying is not, let me beautify this body, which is a vehicle and a vessel for the divine. But until and unless this vehicle is beautiful, it isn't divine. And those are two very different things. And it also implies that God has a specific preference for what beauty is. That God prefers certain skin tones, God prefers certain hair colors, God prefers, complexions that don't have pimples on their nose to complexions that do have pimples on their nose. And again, there's nothing I've read that says, thou shalt be beautiful and pimple-free. Nowhere. In the aim for beauty, it's to celebrate the beauty of the creation. We decorate God in the temples because God is beautiful. We decorate ourselves because we are divine. We've been created of the divine. So spirituality is not about neglecting the temple of the body. We're told over and over again, the body is a temple. We keep it clean. We take care of it. It's a temple. Now, that doesn't mean I need to use lipstick and eyeshadow and hairspray to be beautiful. We all have different ways of doing it. In the same way that there's different temples who dress their deities in different ways. Nothing better, nothing worse. But the point being that being engaged in fashion, being engaged in beauty, there's nothing wrong with it. If people want to beautify their vessels and their vehicles, why not be an agent of that? Sure. As long as you don't perpetuate the myth that through what you're doing to their hair, through the clothes you're giving them, that you are increasing their worth. That you're turning someone who's not enough into someone who's enough. That you're turning someone who should be embarrassed to walk out like that into someone who can feel proud to walk out like that. Our pride comes from the fact that we're divine, that we're whole, that we're complete. It's a pride not of ego, it's a pride of being a reflection of that which is perfect. And yeah, if I want to put sparkles and glitter on the perfection to remind myself that I'm sparkly and glittery because I'm divine, why not? And so if you've got this opportunity, actually, it's a very special opportunity, because what you're going to get is people sitting in your chair who feel like they're not enough, who feel like they're not worthy. And you actually have the opportunity, while giving them what they've come in for with their hair, with their fashion, a teaching. Yeah, okay, you want it straight, I'll straighten it. You want it curly, I'll curl it. You want it longer, we'll put extensions. You want it shorter, I'll cut it. But while they're in your chair, they're yours. Really. And if the goal is to touch and to teach people, well, get them however you can. Whatever your soapbox may be. If you've got something to teach and something to share, you don't have to sit on a cushion on a stage and wait for people to come. If you've already got an avenue to share something with people, share it. Whether you're cutting their hair, whether you're dressing their bodies, whatever you may be doing, use that as an opportunity to help them feel beautiful about themselves long before their haircut is done, long before their clothes have been changed. And that's a special opportunity. So no, I wouldn't worry about changing professions. Sure, if something else lands in your lap and you decide that you love it even more than what you're doing, change. But there's nothing short of violence, corruption, environmental destruction that's an unspiritual career. You can use pretty much any career as a way to further your own path and as a way to connect with others. You can do it as a waiter or a waitress, engaged in dialogue with people you're serving, even just bringing smiles to people. I mean, literally, you can do it as anything. The scriptures are full of stories of, even low caste, low class workers, cobblers, who were great expounders of the Vedas. And you could say, well, God, people are just going to him to get their shoes fixed. Isn't that sort of a materialistic type of thing? But he wasn't just fixing their shoes. He was fixing themselves. Not just sewing their shoes back together, but literally helping them sew their selves back together. So whatever you've got, use it. Use it as a way to reach out and to connect and to teach and to touch, because that's much more effective than standing on a soapbox on a street corner where nobody listens to you. At least as somebody doing hair and clothes, you've got them. You've got a captive audience. You may not be able to impact everyone, but slowly, slowly, slowly the ripples will will go. And as we all know, the greatest way, fastest way and the greatest way to become beautiful is to smile. It's a wonderful expression that says smile. It improves your face value. And so if you can make them smile deeply from within in a way that makes their eyes light up, they're going to look more beautiful. They're going to feel more beautiful, regardless of the hair. So you've actually even done what they've come to you for, and more.